And welcome back to another Petroglyphs in the Sky UFO show. I am your host, Jeff Woolwine. How's everybody doing today? Glad you are with me on this fine, Thursday day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a great show, like always, to talk about today. And we're going to talk about one of the tombs that I discovered out there on South Mountain. One that Charles Holbert, the first park ranger, protected in the 1930s to the late 40s in Phoenix, Arizona, on the mountain there. I'm going to talk about this one UFO video that a friend of mine sent me of a UFO going past the Statue of Liberty. I thought that was pretty fascinating. Also, we're going to show a video of these UFOs above the clouds. I guess it was taken from an aircraft. I don't know. It's interesting, and I thought I'd share it with you today with you guys. So, welcome, and thank you guys so much for joining. And let's get the show started. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the book. This is my book here, The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. Now, this is 15 years of research in Phoenix. I'm a native here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been seeing these UFOs ever since I was a kid. So, in 2004, I went on a quest. I went on a hunt to try to figure out what these things were. And in doing so, I found out that these things like the mountains, then I discovered the petroglyphs are talking about the Phoenix Lights. I proved that. I went on to do many cable shows, many radio shows. Went on to do a UFO Hunter show. Did the pilot for that, then did the History Channel. And my work has been out there. I've been doing this ever since 2004. And, it's not just hearsay. I crossed my T's and I dotted my I's. And, this is proven facts. This isn't just somebody, this just isn't my interpretation. No, this is information that has been, covered up, at least for the last 80 years, on exactly what the Phoenix Lights really is, what these things in the skies, in our skies really are. And how the petroglyphs and the Native Americans, has that connection there, because there is a connection with the petroglyphs. There is a connection with Earth's history on these beings in the sky, and a lot of these UFO researchers, they just haven't done their homework, and it's really sad too. That they haven't, they're just going off of hearsay. They can't prove anything on what they say in their books. Here in my book, there's tons of colored photographs. There's information there on the lost history of Phoenix, Arizona, told in such a way. It's like a magical type journey adventure, if you will, into Arizona's past. And all this information was gathered not only from the library in the Phoenix, Arizona Library Department, downtown Phoenix, Burton Barr Library, but also through the history of South Mountain as far as the petroglyphs, the Native American myths, if you will, the stories on what these petroglyphs are actually talking about. I had a shaman who works at one of the museums, one of the Indian museums out here in Phoenix. I had him take me up there and talk about the petroglyphs, teach me the petroglyphs. And so like what I said, it's nothing that, I'm making up. This is stuff that has always been with us. This is information that has always been here. We just failed to look at, I guess. And all this information is in the book. There's lots of colored photographs there. Petroglyphs in the Sky, the Phoenix Lights, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. And it talks about the petroglyphs. It explains on how to understand the petroglyphs. It talks about the light and shadow markers. It talks about how the tombs are there. I'm going to show you one of the tombs today. And so yeah, I'll be checking the comments also. It's something I haven't been doing lately, and I should. So I'll be checking the comments. We are live here on Facebook. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube. Okay, let's grow that YouTube channel. Let's get this information out. So it's the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky, not just Petroglyphs in the Sky. Do not subscribe to that channel. It's a Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. It's all one word. So there's many people out there, you know, trying to act like me, taking my videos and trying to make money off my videos, this and that. And so Petroglyphs in the Sky on YouTube, that is not me. Make sure that it says the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. So that other guy, that's an interpreter. That is not me. Okay, that's someone who stole my work, and I'm right in the process with YouTube trying to get that channel down. Okay, the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits. Get your copies today. And you know, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the fame. I don't get any money from my book, and that's what a lot of these other, you know, people selling these books, you know, they're just in it for themselves. They just want the money, you know, and that's not what I'm about. I told the publishers to give my proceeds to the foster kids in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm not making any profit off any of this. I'm bringing this information, this 15 to 20 year information that I've personally dug up. I've been on the field. I've done my research. I've done my sky watching in Phoenix, Arizona. All this information is in this book. And so yeah, get your copies today and find out what the lost history of Phoenix, Arizona really is. And those of you who will understand this book will understand where I'm coming from and how to interpret the petroglyphs. Okay. These guys are real cool. Thank you guys for sponsoring the channel. For Real Watchers Radio. Boy, is that a tongue twister. Bet you can't say that 5 times. And so yeah, Jerry and Brett, these guys are great. Make sure that you guys stop by and say hi to them. And they have their own radio show and their own YouTube channel. And so yeah, they're my new sponsors. And thank you guys so much. And so yeah, everybody go out there and check out For Real Watchers Radio Show. All right. Worldwide Live. They rock. Check them out. Check them out. Somebody to check out. Okay, let's see if I can get something else going on here. Let's find it first. Here we go. Here we go. Vulture City Paracon Part 2. Oh my. Coming live back at you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. The Paracon out there, Vulture City, is alive and well. And talk to Jane Marie Yates. They're the host of this awesome event. I was there last year talking about UFOs. Did a lecture on UFOs. Did some book signing out there. And not last year, what was it? 2019, because 20, that was just a real horrible year for everybody. So yeah, so we had to skip over 20. So we're back in 2021, and yeah, I'll be a part of that October. When is this? 9th and 10th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, and Vulture City Paracon. It's out there in Wickenburg, Arizona. And this will be the first time ever. Not only are we going to be doing ghost hunts out there, and I'll be doing my own ghost adventure thing out there, but also this will be the first time ever a UFO sky watching event will be taking place. I'll be hosting that. And so, yeah, get your tickets early, because I'm sure because of COVID and the number of tickets being sold and the gatherings and this and that the tickets are going to go fast. So make sure that you get a hold of Vulture City, Jane Marie Yates out there at Vulture City Mines for this upcoming adventure, Vulture City Paracon Part 2. And yes, there are some crazy things going on there in Vulture City. Me and Jay, we've been talking back and forth, and he sent me some photographs, and oh my, there's some stuff that's going on there that I can't talk about yet, but we will be talking about that very soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, for right now, get your tickets early. Vulture City Paracon Part 2. Come on out there, say hi to me. Bring your books. I'll be doing book signings out there. We're going to be doing sky watching and things like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a great adventure. Paracon 2, Vulture City out there in Vulture City Mines. Can't wait to be there. Thank you, Vulture City. Thank you, Jane Marie Yates, for having me back. It's an honor, and it's going to be a great, great time, as it always is. Okay, so, yeah. Let's talk about some of these other skywatchers out here. I don't do it very often, but some of it, it just really kind of, it just, I see some of these books people are writing and some of the stuff, that's going on, that, hearsay can just take a holiday, dude. I'm sorry, but we really must be able, if we're gonna talk about this kind of stuff, we must be able to prove it, right? And there's so many, these so-called researchers out there that are talking about, they talk the talk, right? They just can't walk the walk, right? Because they haven't been out in the field. They have no idea what a petroglyph is. They've not even studied some of these ancient texts, that talks about these things in the sky. And, they come out and they write these books, and they have no evidence, all words. That's one thing in my book. I just don't talk the talk, but I walk the walk with my photographs, with the evidence that I present to you. All right. And like I said, I'm not in it for money. I don't get any money for this. I'm just giving this information to you and for you to gather up all this information and for you to go out there and investigate everything that I'm saying. Check it out. This is a whole new theory, a whole new idea, a whole new concept on the Phoenix Lights. Because there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's a craft, it's a spaceship. There's stories of windows and people looking down. And then the story went on to say that it was a massive gunship. And, it was like a V-shaped mile craft going over the city of Phoenix, Arizona, going 8 miles an hour. But, it's been over 20 years, and I can't seem to find one evidence of that, one type of proof of that. The evidence that I can find, is with Arizona's past, is with Phoenix, Arizona's past, is with the petroglyphs on the mountain. It talks about the Phoenix Lights, explains on what the Phoenix Lights is, if you can understand the glyphs. Right now, once you understand the glyphs, and once you've seen the stuff for your own eyes, it all makes sense. That is what's credible there. Not only can we read some of these ancient texts, from the Sumerians, from the Babylonians, and things like this, we can actually see the prehistoric photographs carved on the mountains by the Native Americans, right? Okay, so that's 2 links that we can prove. And then the third link is what we see in the skies today. Now, a lot of people see lights in the sky, right? And they think that they're spaceships, right? They think they're crafts. They think there's a little alien controlling this, right? But what if it's not a craft at all, right? It's not a little green guy inside, right? What if that light is the being itself? What if it's just, what if that light is the creature, is the entity, right? That light, is not technology, okay? That is a living creature, right? So we see 5 lights out there, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a spaceship, it's a craft. That light is a craft, right? These lights are a craft, and it's cloaked or something, right? Because you can't see, the object, you just see the lights, right? But what if these lights really are living entities? So we've got 5 lights out in the sky, and what if they're 5 living creatures, right? 5 living entities. Look at the firefly. Look at the lightning bug, okay? He was created that way. He lights up, right? He lights up in the sky. So what makes this different? What if that's them, right? We see the lights in the sky. They're lighting up. They come through this doorway, this vortex, if you will. Some say from another dimension, right? And they sit there and they're over major energy sources. That's like the major thing that I always talk about, is these energies around the globe. Because these things seem to be attracted to these fault lines, to these energies, right? And I discovered that they track the sun. They follow the sun. They follow the seasons of the Earth's pattern around the sun, this and that. This is why, sometimes we see UFOs over here in Phoenix for a lot of months, right? And then after the equinox or after the solstice, they're kind of gone. They went somewhere else. Now they're in Florida, or now they're in, Paris, right? They're following the sun as the sun changes. They're following the sun. When the sun gets in the right position of these fault lines, it creates an energy type fusion effect, okay? And the Native Americans say that they're going into these doorways, right? They're going into the doorways to the underworld. Now, on a scientific level, everybody knows this. Everybody, you've been following me for years, so you know what I'm about to say. On a scientific level, they're going down into that fault line. They're there for the energy, right? So, Skinwalker Ranch, I always got to bring these guys up. They tested my theory in one of their shows, because I was the first one to ever talk about this. I believe I discovered this in like 2006 or 7. When I finally realized what was going on and everything was making sense, that these things were here for the energy, because South Mountain in Phoenix was created by a fault line, right? And there's a major fault line under that mountain. In 2004, there's a power plant on the east side of South Mountain, and these Phoenix lights in 2004, the summer of 2004, these lights were hanging right over that power plant. And I was videotaping these lights, doing crazy formations. It was great. That whole summer of 2004, these lights was on the east side of South Mountain over a power plant. Those of you who are in Phoenix or know what I'm talking about, this power plant is on Ray Road. Okay, to give you an idea of where it's at. These lights are over that power plant. So they've been gathering at that spot for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. They've always came to this mountain. They've always came to South Mountain. Native Americans from all over the nations used to gather here in Phoenix, Arizona to watch the lights, to watch the Phoenix lights, to watch what was going on here. This has been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. It's nothing new. March 13th, 1997, that's nothing compared to the backstory, compared to what's really going on here in Phoenix, Arizona, and the connection with the fault lines, the energies, the lights. And a lot of these people, a lot of these sky watchers, because I don't know, because maybe, they just haven't realized this yet, because they haven't thought of this yet. They just assume that it's, a spaceship in the sky, right? And with all the petroglyphs that I've seen and everything that I've studied, I used to think crafts in my day. All right, I have seen some things in the sky. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I have seen some things in the sky that could resemble a craft. Okay, I've seen a V-shaped object in the sky, yes. I've seen jumping jacks in the sky going counterclockwise. 4 silver spheres connected together going clockwise in the sky. I was in New York during 9/11. All right, I was in upstate New York during 9/11. 3 days after the towers fell, this object went over our heads. My son and his friend went over our heads. Okay, about maybe a few hundred feet off the ground. Okay, I saw this object clearly. It was silver. It was metallic. It had 4 silver spheres connected to it. Okay, in a cross going counterclockwise, right? So, was that a spaceship? Was that a craft? Could be. But what I'm trying to say is the evidence, what we can go by, as far as the pattern of Earth's history, everything that we read in the texts, okay, these ancient texts, everything that we see in the prehistoric photographs, meaning the petroglyphs, describes something completely different. All right. And what about the Native Americans? What are they saying about this? They're saying they're shape shifting, right? They shape shift in the sky. They come through doorways. They come through vortexes, right? They're shape shifting. They're changing shape. Nowhere, anywhere do I see spaceships. Do I see crafts? I see man reading these ancient texts and interpreting a spaceship in with that. Does it say craft? No. Because you would think if the biblical texts, or these ancient texts are talking about, a craft, they would say boat in the sky or something like that, right? Something that they understand, because, back then they didn't know, spaceships and crafts and this and that. They more likely they would say ark, all right, or a boat, right? Even with the chariot of fire, okay, that could read that they're just looking at that saying, oh, it's a spaceship, it's a chariot, it's a spaceship. What if it's a fiery light, right? What if it's one of those phoenix lights going across the sky? And because they don't know spaceships, because they don't know, anything, they know a chariot. So it's something in the sky, so they call it a chariot, and it's on fire, right? The pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Now, why didn't they say, oh, this boat in the sky was on fire, and then during the day the boat was like a cloud? Or why didn't they say, the chariot was on fire, or the chariot was, you look like a cloud? You see where I'm going with this? In no way, shape, or form are these ancient texts or these petroglyphs or cave paintings describing spaceships, describing crafts. I see shape-shifting, right? I see creatures in the sky that are shape-shifting, that like to take the shape of snakes and diamonds and orbs and lights, crooked snakes. And then we look at the petroglyphs, and it's showing the exact same stuff that me and you are seeing in the skies today. Back to Skinwalker Ranch. I always do that. I always get off the topic. But as far as the energy is concerned, Skinwalker Ranch tested my theory. I was the first one to come out this publicly, on the internet, on cable TV shows, saying, look, it's the energy, dude. They're following the energy. So Skinwalker Ranch decided to prove that theory. They took some rockets, put some sensors in there, shot that rocket up, to see if there's any energy in the sky. Lo and behold, there was a light right there in the sky, exactly at the time the rocket was up there absorbing the energy. Perfect timing, right? Can't get better than that, right? But yeah, when it came back down, they all saw the light. They all saw the UFO up there. They went back into their little war room, if you want to call it that. They went back into the little observation room, going over the files, going over the tapes, going over the readings. And they're coming up like, there is energy in the sky, right? Because that's what the spirals are talking about. The spirals ending up on carvings are talking about the vortex in the sky. And it's right over energy spots, okay? And no, Skinwalker Ranch doesn't have petroglyphs carved on there. It's not. There's no petroglyphs there. There are petroglyphs around that area. Skinwalker Ranch is sitting on a fault line. And there's petroglyphs around there describing the exact same kind of entities that we're seeing in the skies. So, yes, there are petroglyphs around Skinwalker Ranch that's talking about these UFOs, right? They haven't got that far yet. They don't understand this yet. But there's a light in the sky, so it's there for the energy. And they're saying, Well, maybe that craft is producing the energy. God. Look, man, come on now. That is, it's not a craft. That's a living entity. It's a living being. It's a living life form. It's a light being, and it's not projecting or it's not sending off the energy. It's there for the energy. I don't know. One of these days I'll get it right. But that's just what I'm talking about. These. I mean, it's like. When I was doing the Hunter Show, the UFO Hunter Show on History Channel, they're telling me, Jeff, you're filming some bizarre stuff. You just can't say, creatures and entities and things like that. They go, the public isn't ready for it. If you're going to talk about these things, you have to say spaceships. You have to say crafts. And I was just so pissed off about that. I'm like, dude, I used to think crafts, before. But when I saw it from my own eyes and I saw what was going on, I understood Arizona's history. I understood the petroglyphs on the mountain. It's not talking about crafts here. It's talking about something completely different. Flying entities. That's what's going on here. That are coming and going from the mountain because of the energy. The public isn't ready for that, dude. You're so far ahead. I'm like, oh my God. The public needs to catch up with your work. Oh my God, dude, come on. And this was back in 2007, And so there's a lot of these so-called UFO researchers that are just taking, they're just retelling the stories, retelling this, retelling that, with nothing to back it up. But there's one person that I'm very glad that she contacted me. She's a great friend of mine now. And she's highly respected in, like the history field. And she actually did her homework, her research. She saw me, on YouTube doing shows. Who knows where she saw me at, because I'm all over the place. But she saw me somewhere and contacted me. Because I'm talking about giants at Phoenix, Arizona, right? And I'm talking about the petroglyphs, the petroglyph connections with the Phoenix lights and this and that, right? And she contacted me and wanted to do, a tour, because I do tours out there on South Mountain. And so she's interested, on another theory of the Phoenix lights. She wants to know exactly what's going on, right? See, she's just not, taking my word for it. She's crossing her eyes or crossing her eyes. She's crossing her T's and dotting her I's, right? And that is someone that, she's got I believe, she does radio shows, she does TV shows, this and that, And the person I'm talking about is Heather Arnold. Here's her Facebook page. Check her out. Now, she talks about giants, right? She does radio shows and TV shows and stuff like that, talking about giants. Now, she is 100% credible. Why? Because she's not saying what other people are saying. She's going out there and investigating things herself. So she has a first eye. So she has a first idea on what's going on. So she's not taking the word of somebody else. She's going out there and investigating things herself, much like what I did, right? Heather Arnold is very respected here in the field. She's a great friend of mine. And she's not just going on hearsay. Look her up on Facebook. She knows what she's talking about because she has seen it herself, right? And that's what makes it credible. She's not just out there saying what everybody else is saying. She's proven it, right? And that is where the credibility lies at. Okay, it's not just some book with words and hearsay. All right, this is facts. She's going out there in the field like I do, and she's investigating things like I do, right? Going to Aruba, going to Easter Island, okay? She's taking these trips, investigating these things for herself so she knows exactly what she's talking about. That's exactly what I have done here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not just going off hearsay. Oh, this V-shaped mile-wide craft went over Phoenix, but nobody can prove it. I went deeper than that. I investigated the Phoenix lights. I'm the only one who's done a thorough investigation on the lights. Because 10 years after the fact, after 1997, we got these skywatchers still talking about crafts, but no one's talking about petroglyphs until I came around. They had no idea that there was a petroglyph connection with the UFOs in Phoenix, Arizona. I was the one that brought this to the public. I was the one that brought this to them through my dedicated research, through my investigations. It's exactly what Heather Arnold is doing. She's going out there in the field, investigating these things, going on radio shows, going on shows, all right, and telling the truth because she's been there. If you're watching, Heather, I love what you're doing. I always have. And if you ever want to take me on one of your investigations, I'd love to go. Let's go hit Aruba. Show me those giants, man. Show me those evidence of giants. I'd love to do it, and let's have you on the show one of these days. Thank you, Heather, for being my friend and for doing some awesome work in this field, man. You have my respect, and you're probably one of the only ones out there, who is actually doing your research. You're not just, writing hearsay. You're out there doing work. You're investigating things for yourself. You're bringing this to the public attention, right? That's exactly what I'm doing. Kudos to you. You're awesome. Thank you so much. And looking forward to seeing you again real soon. All right, let's get things going here. Okay, everybody knows I like talking about Charles Holbert here on South Mountain. Okay, so Charles Holbert was the first park ranger of South Mountain Park. And, my last show, or one of my shows, can't remember, it talks about, the Dinazia stone. All right, and it says claimed by Francis Marco Dinazia, May 3rd, 1539, right? Look at that. And even this postcard that I dug up in the Phoenix Library. This is where I got this is a real ID card that he used to carry in his wallet, and now it's in the archived folders in South Mountain. I took a photograph of it. And this is the card. This is the exact card that he used to carry back in the 1930s. Talking about the trails on South Mountain, and talking about the Dinazia stone, claimed by Francis Marcos Dinazia. I can't say that right. 1539, man. The Spanish explorer. And the archaeologists today do not want to admit that the Spanish even came this far into Phoenix, but they did. You look at my book, you see the artifacts that I discovered on South Mountain when it comes to the Spanish, and you look at the war that happened there, the little battle that happened there. Yes, the Spanish was here, and here are some of the trails, okay, on this card there. And here's Charles Holbert right there. Okay, now he was set to protect the tombs on South Mountain. Now, how did he know that there were tombs on South Mountain? Because when he first became the park ranger, I mean, he was a big man, okay, in the parks and recreation field. I found information on him in other states like California and in Utah and in New Mexico. Okay, so this just wasn't just one guy here in Phoenix. No, his stuff was all over the place on the West Coast. So everybody knew who Charles Holbert was. All right, he just wasn't some simple little man, with a 6-shooter and protecting, and his little cactus rib walking cane that you can see right there, walking around park, and telling people, stay off the stay on the trails, things like that. No, this guy went further. Okay, he was an explorer. He was a historian. Okay, and the Native Americans understood that. Okay, the Native Americans who was with this guy at the time, and they told him about the tombs. They told him about the gold tombs on South Mountain. Okay, and he was there to protect the tombs. Okay, that's what his job was mostly there for. You know, not only did he hand out little flyers talking about how the Mayans were here, talking about, you know, the spirits of the earth and sky. Okay, and to us, you know, that would probably be an interpretation of UFOs. So there's no like evidence to suggest that he saw UFOs over South Mountain. I didn't find any evidence of that, but there are reference to that. Okay, there's a poem. All right, there's a poem that I believe he wrote, and it goes something like, "Watch these hills as he has done, and you will see the phantoms too." Watch these hills as he has done, and you will see the phantoms too. Phantoms, spirits. The Native Americans say these are spirits from the earth and sky. The Native Americans, the Hohokam Indians, the Pima Indians, the Tohono O'odham tribe in Arizona, understand the history of Phoenix and their story about these spirits of the earth and sky, say that they are guarding the tombs that are on South Mountain, waiting for the mines to return and claim the gold and have this interaction between the Phoenix Lights and mankind happen once again. So they know that this is going to happen again, that sooner or later mankind is going to be interacting with these Phoenix Lights, interacting with these beings like it was in the past, like it was in the beginning. And when it does, when it starts over again, the gold is there for the Mayans to reclaim it and start over again. That was told to Charles Holbert. That was in his writings. I discovered all this in a folder tucked away in the library for 80 years and not talked about. Because after Holbert's death in the late 40s, 1940s, they buried all his information. Because he used to tell people about the gold. That's something that he kind of made a mistake on. There's two things that he made a mistake on. One, telling people on where the four crosses were, because that ended up the people looking for the gold and destroying the crosses. And two, telling people that there's gold out there. Because now he's got to protect the gold. You know, he when he did tours, you know, talking about the petroglyphs, you know, and the Native American information there, he told people about the gold, about the tombs. So naturally, they're going to go find them and try to dig it up, right? And when he did, you know, even his son wrote a book on his father, and it talks about how his father was stood up way high up on a hill, watching this grave robber, or not grave robber, but this tomb robber dig a hole, and he watched him dig all the way up to his shoulders. And when he got that far, that's when Holbert jumped down off the hill, ran up on the guy with his gun, and told him, "Look, you need to fill up that hole and don't come on this mountain ever again." You know, his son writes stories on his father in his book. You know, that's in the library. I took photocopies, not only of everything in that folder, but also I dug up Charles Holbert's son book that I discovered in the library, and I photocopied all that. So one of these days, I'll publish that on my website. Also on my website, when you go on my YouTube channel, on my videos, you can find my link to my website there, and it's got the form of Charles Holbert on his writings, and it says the lost city of Cibola, the lost city of gold. Okay, because a lot of these Spanish was looking for this lost city of gold, the lost city of Cibola. Now, why would Charles Holbert write in his writings the lost city of Cibola if he didn't think that this was maybe one of the locations for the lost cities of gold, Phoenix, Arizona? The first park ranger writing all this stuff, telling people back in the 30s about this, keeping people away from the gold mines or from the gold tombs, things like that, right? And then he passes away, and all his information, boom, buried away. Now the archaeologist doesn't talk about this. The archaeologist doesn't even mention that the Mayans are here. The archaeologist doesn't admit that there's tombs out there. The archaeologist in Phoenix doesn't admit that there's sacrificing altars out there. I discovered all this stuff. I verified it. I went on the mountains. I found the information. I found the tombs. We're going to talk about one of the tombs here. I'm going to show you photographs. I found the altars. I found Mayan carvings, petroglyphs out there. Not Hohokam, Mayan carvings. I found evidence that the Spanish conquistadors was here in the valley. That's in my book. All right. You can see the evidence that I found that I dug up in my book. You can read about the little Indian war between the Indians and the Spanish that happened on South Mountain there. That's in my book. Photographs, colored photographs. So why would a respected park ranger of Phoenix be talking about all this crazy stuff if he didn't truly believe it? And he did, because I went out there and I verified everything that he was talking about. I found at least 3 tombs out there, maybe 4. 4 tombs out there on South Mountain. We're going to talk about one here today. Here's the back of the card. And that's looking towards South Mountain. From Central. You see that number 6, that line, that road? That is Central Avenue going up into South Mountain Park. And this little, that's interesting. This peak over here in the upper right corner, that's Charles Holbert's lookout. That peak right there on the top right-hand corner. That is his lookout. Charles Holbert used to stand on that peak right there and look for the gold robbers. Look for the gold for the tomb raiders. And there's a whole dedication plaque up there. It's called Holbert Lookout, and I think that's in my book also. I know I put it in volume 1 or volume 2. I think it's in volume 1. But yeah, and it even shows you where all the Indians used to be at. Okay, and then right over here on the bottom there, right? So when we follow that road right under the number 7, that leads right in there to Holbert's now known as Holbert's Trail. That's Holbert Trail right there under the number 7. And there's Indian teepees. So yeah, they lived all along that area. And that hill there, above that teepee on the bottom left, there's a tomb in that hill. That's only one hill. There's actually 2 hills there. 2 pyramid hills. And that one right there has a tomb within it. So yeah. Okay, so let's look at one of these tombs here. So I'm out there. I'm out on South Mountain. Okay, I've been hiking the mountain for years, and I'm finding all this evidence that the archaeologist isn't talking about. And I'm finding this stuff like a year before I found the information in the library talking about Charles Holbert. So I'm finding this stuff. I'm finding these tombs. I'm finding altars. I'm finding carvings from the Mayans. And I'm actually finding carvings right from the Spanish conquistadors. I found a king, a profile of a king carved on South Mountain looking in the direction of a tomb. And that's how one of the ways to understand these petroglyphs is like if a coyote is looking in one direction or a deer is looking in a direction, you want to follow that way. You want to go that way because we have a story here, you have a coyote, or we have some kind of man or some kind of symbol pointing in that direction. Well, that's leading you to the next story. Okay? And that's exactly what this petroglyph is showing here. It's showing a king, the profile of a king, okay, and he's looking between the two pyramid hills on Holbert Trail, all right? He's looking between the pyramids. I followed where he was looking. Yes, I found something there significant. Could be an entrance point to a tomb. But yeah, he's looking in that direction. I'm finding all this stuff, and the archaeologist is like, dude, I'm like, where are you? Why aren't you talking about this stuff? You know, because I love archaeology. I've been studying archaeology way before I've been doing ufology, you know, and that's what got me into the history, you know, of Phoenix, Arizona, bringing the past, you know, to you again, you know, the stuff that's been covered up. Because I'm out there investigating all this stuff, and I'm seeing all these man-made structures that's clearly obvious. And the archaeologist isn't talking about it, dude. So I'm taking photographs. I'm taking photographs of stuff, bringing this information to you in my book and in my radio shows and shows like this, okay? And I'm showing you the proof. I'm not talking about hearsay. I'm bringing you the facts. The facts say that there are gold tombs on South Mountain. Charles Holbert knew about it. The Native Americans know about it, right? There's certainly the archaeologist here in Phoenix knows about it, but he's not talking about it. Why? Because one of those mistakes that Charles did, you know, telling people there's gold up there, and so people are going to go up there and start digging it up. And that's the reason why they made South Mountain a national government park. Why would they do that? Right? Why would they make that mountain, none of the other mountains around Phoenix, just South Mountain, formerly known by the Indians as Mount Sapoa? Why would they make that, or Mountain of Mercy, Mount Sapoa? Why would they make that mountain a government park? Unless they're trying to keep you away from stuff, right? Because you can't go in there and dig up tombs. You go to jail, go to prison. You can't go in there digging up fossils or digging up giants of corpses because you go to jail. That's exactly the reason, that's the only reason why they made South Mountain a national government park, is because there's stuff there that will rewrite Arizona's history, rewrite Phoenix, Arizona's history, that will explain what the Phoenix Lights is, that will explain that there's more story than just a simple peace-loving race of beings, of people, the Hohokam Indians, you know, that lived here for 1,000 years, who were masters of the canal system, didn't go to war with anybody, was here for 1,000 years, and then all of a sudden they decided that it got too hot because of drought, and they went somewhere else, and we can't find any evidence on where they went. That's bullcrap. Unless there's something there that they don't want you to know. And this is it. This is it. There are tombs out there. And I think that one of us, we need, at least one tomb needs to be opened up. Not all of them. Because if the story is true that the Phoenix Lights is protecting the tombs on South Mountain, protecting the Mayan gold, we don't want to upset the Phoenix Lights, right? Because what happened? What happened last time when man upsetted these lights? That's in my other shows. That's in my book. That is on Charles Holbert's writing on my website. You can go there and check it out and find out what happened to the Hohokam people, what the Phoenix Lights really is. From Charles Holbert's point of view, from the Native Americans who went through the damn thing, who should know? Who should know? Because their generations, they have been told all these hundreds and thousands of years what these lights are, what these beings in the sky is, what happened to their ancestors, right? I think we need to start paying attention to that. because we are seeing the stuff in the skies now. So we are seeing it in our generation. The past saw them also in their generation. What does this all mean? Does it mean that history is repeating itself? Does it mean that the Hopis are right, that we're in the fourth world, getting ready to enter the fifth? I mean, we really need to start looking at some of the stuff that has always been here. The clues and the information and the stories on what is and what Earth's paths really is has always been here. But a lot of these people are just covering it up. They're writing stuff in books, trying to make a dollar, trying to get famous, trying to get rich off other people's ignorance with no credibility. And that's sad. Because here's where the credibility lies at. The information talks about, on South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona, talks about tombs. This is one tomb that Charles Holbert, I know, was protecting. Now this is looking on the outskirts of the tomb. Notice how it's a pyramid. Let's get into this now. Let's talk about this tomb. First of all, we want to look at it from a distance. We can see the pyramid shape. See that? We can see this hill, and it's not very far. You can actually see the city in the background there. It's not very far from downtown Phoenix. You can see the city over to the bottom right there. That's Phoenix. And here sits this pyramid-looking hill. All right? Now, a lot of people would just bypass that, just walk on by it. But, you know, to the Indians, to the Native Americans, you know, it's a pyramid, it's sacred, right? So that's what you first see when you're walking. You see this pyramid hill. Here's a different angle of it. Now we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the pyramid. We're walking to the pyramid. And you can see a better idea how close it is to Phoenix. You can actually see the buildings out there. Those are houses, man. And you can see more of this pyramid structure. Mountain peak. See that? You can tell that it's a pyramid. You can also start to see the painting. Look at the bottom right here. Let's look at that bottom right. See that? You can now, we're closer to the rock now. We're closer to the mountain. We're closer to the pyramid. Now this is like, this is off Baseline Road. Those of you who are familiar with Phoenix. This is off Baseline Road. And, I want to say 27th Avenue? Somewhere around there. And it's right there off the trail. Right there, there's a parking lot. That's how close it is. There's houses around this pyramid. And they don't have a clue on what's inside this pyramid. We're going to talk about it. So first of all, when we get closer, we can see this. And we can see paint. We can see white paint there on the bottom. You see that? Then you can see the city in the background. That's Phoenix. Now here's what that paint is. It's a circle. Now we're on top of the mountain. We're on top of the pyramid. We're on the pyramid now. That is a circle. They painted, the government, the army, has painted a circle on this area right here. They painted a circle. And we're gonna talk about more of that circle here in a minute on why that circle is there. Let's move this photograph over here for now, because we're gonna talk about that later. Now let's see. Okay, now from Google Earth, you can actually see the circle. Let me move this picture over here for now. We'll save that because I want to show you this. So look at this. From Google Earth, you can see that circle. It's a marker, right? It's some kind of marker. And then over here to the right, it's really hard to see on this, but that's part of the pyramid over here on the right. But right here is that circle that you can see from Google Earth. Those of you who are looking for this tomb, look for the circle on South Mountain, right off of Baseline Road. It's right, next to that road. It's not deep in the mountain. It's right there. So when you're looking on Google Earth, I don't know if I have the coordinates on here or not. No, it doesn't look like I do. But you can see that. You can Google Earth South Mountain. And I believe in the 27th Street, I could be wrong, but somewhere in that area off of Baseline Road, you can zoom in close on South Mountain, right off of Baseline Road, you will see that circle. Now, in the middle of that circle is this plaque. And it's like a like a service or a survey marker right in the middle of that circle on this pyramid formation mountain on South Mountain. We have a painted circle, and in the middle of that circle, we have this stamped plaque. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It says fine or imprisonment. All right? They don't want you to dig up whatever's here. Okay? Fine or imprisonment. Can you read that? Can you see that? Corps of Engineers, U.S. Army, for disturbing this mark, fine or imprisonment. It's a survey marker, right? So they don't want you, to even mess with this hill. That is what's in the middle of the paint, of that circle paint. Now, in front, when you come down to the bottom of the pyramid, you'll see these Roman numerals. This is in front of the entrance to the tomb. The first thing that you'll notice is you'll see these Roman numerals. And this is the only Roman numerals that I found on South Mountain, but when I was doing a lecture, and I was doing a lecture and I was talking about these Roman numerals, during break time, someone came up to me and said, "Have I been on such and such a hill on the other side?" And I said, "No." He goes, "There's Roman numerals up there also." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah. I never got a chance to go investigate that, but I know. I mean, what is that? That's 10. That's 15. 10 and a 5. An X and a V, so that's 15. So someone has come around and has marked all these tombs. Okay, someone has documented. This is the interpretation I'm getting. All right, from this is what I'm getting out of all of this. Why the Roman numerals are there, in front of this tomb. Why these Roman numerals are there is because someone has gone around and documented this. Someone has documented all the tombs on South Mountain. They put Roman numerals in front of that. Now, is that a city government thing? No. Roman numerals? No, that is not, a government type of way of marking stuff. Okay, they would just put a little tag there, or they put a flag there, or they like what they did is they put a survey marker up on top of the tomb where we just looked at. So this goes older. This is telling me that this is older. Someone has come around, before the city has even before the city of Phoenix has even started being built. Someone has come around and documented with a map where all these tombs are, and they put Roman numerals. They put markers. So if I'm not mistaken, 5 and the V is 15, right? That is the first thing that you will see on the ground of the Pyramid Hill. Now, when we look at the side of it, so that wall there is the entrance to the tomb, of the pyramid. So the Roman numerals is right there in front of that bleached out stone that we see right there and the entrance. You see that bleached out stone right there? Okay, that is where the Roman numerals are. That bleached out stone right here in the middle of your screen. That is where the Roman numerals are. It's hard to see because the sun's bleaching it out, right? And you walk up into this type of hallway. This is the entrance to the tomb, located on South Mountain. And then we'll notice that there's a stone that's blocking the way, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So that's what we're looking at when we stand back, and the pyramid is off to the right. It's going, you're heading towards the pyramid hill. You're walking in a hallway. You're walking up into a hallway leading to the entrance to that tomb. Looks like I did a double photograph there. Okay, so here's a look at it from looking head on, looking straight on into the hallway, if you will. We're looking into the hallway leading up to the doorway to the tomb. This is the hallway, and there's petroglyphs. If you notice the petroglyphs on the left, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. You can see all the debris on the ground. See all the chunks of debris? That is another clue that there's been digging here. There's a lot of debris on the ground of this hallway leading up to the entrance of the tomb. And then we have this stone blocking our way. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. So that's the hallway leading to the tomb in South Mountain Park. Now, here's what's carved on the hallway. We notice these petroglyphs here. Now, those of you who have studied or who have seen, carvings of the Mayans, the Mayan temples, pyramids and things, we see crosses, don't we? There's a lot of crosses on these Mayan tombs in Mexico. Now, this not only is it Mayan art, also to the right you can see what looks like snakes or something over here to the right of this cross. But that's also Mayan. So yes, the Mayan and the Hohokam were together here at the same time on South Mountain. And that cross, actually, I filmed that in the sky. I've seen that that UFO entity in the sky. And then over here to the left, we have what looks like a swastika. And there are swastikas on South Mountain. And there's petroglyphs of coyotes, of animals, looking up at flying swastikas. There's actually a line coming down from one of these swastikas and picking up an animal into the sky. So what we're looking at here are UFO entities. Are these creatures, are these entities that we see in the skies today? And I filmed that. I filmed that cross. I have seen that. And here it's carved on the side of the walkway, the side of the hallway leading up to this tomb on South Mountain. Now, there's more petroglyphs here to the left. As we get closer to the entrance, not only is there a big boulder in our way, but there's petroglyphs over here to the left. Let's examine these glyphs here. Now, these are, it looks like one stick figure man. We know that he is alive. Okay? We know he's alive because his hands are up. Right? He's like in the appeasement pose. Okay? And he's got a feather at his head. Now, it's interesting because the archaeologist doesn't want to acknowledge that the Hohokams had like a clan, had like symbols for their clan. But I beg to differ. All the evidence leads me to believe that they used the quail. There's so many quail birds out there on this mountain, and they have these feathers going forward on top of their head. Now, when we look at this petroglyph here of the man with his arms raised, we can see a quail feather on his head facing the direction that he is facing, much like a quail feather. Now, this isn't the first time that I've seen this type of petroglyph on South Mountain with a guy with this type of feather headdress. So I believe that the Hohokam used the quail as a type of clan symbol, if you will. So their feathers were the quails. And like I said, we know that he's alive because his hands are up. And then we look over to what he's carrying, or to the person to his left, the thing to his left. Now, his arms are down. Okay? His arms are down. That's a very significant significant artwork, because when the arms are down, that is a depiction of death. Okay? Arms are up, he's alive. Arms are down, he is dead. So what is going on here? This photograph, this prehistoric photograph history, is telling us that this shaman, this medicine man, this leader of the Hohokam Indians, is taking this deceased being up into this tomb. He's walking, he's headed that direction, because remember last time I told you, what direction is he facing? He's facing that way, towards the entrance, towards this big stone that we're going to talk about here in a minute. He's facing towards the entrance of the tomb. So he's leading this dead person, this dead thing, into the tomb. Here's a better shot of it. Arms are down, meaning dead. not alive. You can see the quail feather on the stick-figured guy to the right with his hands raised. You can see that quail feather. The feather is facing the man as he's looking towards the entrance of the tomb. To his left are this, and some would say that that would be a lizard man, right? Because why? He's got a tail. He's got a tail, man. His arms are down. His legs are down. Clearly he's dead. He's not alive, and he's got a tail, dude. Is that a lizard man? Is there telling us that there is some kind of lizard creature buried in this tomb? Is that what he's taking up to bury in this tomb? Is it a lizard man? That's what the photograph is talking about. The photograph is saying that this leader, because he's got the headdress on, we know he's a leader. He's got the feather of a quail. He's alive. But the guy to the left, he's dead. He's got a tail. Lizard man? I don't know. Let's move on. Now, on top of the hallway, right at the beginning of the entrance. The beginning of the entrance. Now we know, look at this. It is laying down. This is on top of the hallway. Right, this is right above the crosses where we saw that cross, the Mayan cross. That is where this petroglyph is depicted. It's about 3 feet maybe above them on the wall, above the petroglyph with the cross on it. Right above that, it's right there at the edge on top. Now this time it's depicting it's laying down. All right, his arms are down. He's laying down. Both his arms and his legs are down. Okay, that is a symbol for death. We saw the symbol where the leader, the shaman with the feather headdress, he's taken the one-armed man up into the tomb. And then here, on top of the wall, facing that direction, mind you, facing the direction of the entrance to the tomb, he's facing that way. His head is facing towards the entrance. We have the figure is now laying down, and his arms are down. Everything is pointing to death. This is what's buried here at this tomb. Let's move on. Now, we are getting closer as we walk further up. We see this huge slab of stone in our way. Someone has put that big slab of stone in our way. That's the first obstacle that we come across going up into the entrance. That slab of stone, man. Someone has chiseled that off and thrown it in place. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. I'll show you what I'm talking about as we go on. But look at that. That's the first. When we go up further from the glyphs, we run into this slab of stone, blocking our way. Now, here is looking on top of this stone. On top of the slab of stone. Now you can see on how it was tossed in there. Well, we can see another petroglyph there. We can see a few more petroglyphs. Now that deer on top, let's talk about that deer real quick. Now that is a solstice marker. That is when the sun will come down and align with that deer. Probably the equinox. That is a sunset because he's facing west. Okay, so that would be a sunset marker, solstice marker. And the sun would align with that deer because he's looking up. That's the whole idea for that. That's the reason why. He's looking up. He's looking up at the sun as the sun comes down during the sunset. Because that's like the top of the wall there. So that's right. That deer is carved right there at the end of the wall, right there at the edge of the wall, looking up at the sunset. The sun will align with that deer. We have another deer over here that's carved. And he's facing that way. Now, let's look at the stone here. Let's look at the wall. Can you see the scrape marks? Can you see the scrape marks there? Look at the scrape marks. Let's not look at the graffiti. The S on the 6 on the J. Let's look at the scrape marks here. And that's telling me that stone was thrown into place and it bounced off the wall and it slid down. You can see the sliding down right there on the left side here. Those two white lines. That's it was cut. It bounced off the wall as it was thrown into place. Now, who would have had that type of strength back then to pick up this slab of stone, throw it against that wall, have it bounce off because the evidence is right there. The evidence is there. You can see the scratch marks on the wall as it hit the wall several times and scratched the wall and then finally scratched in place. Now, who the hell would have been that strong, that powerful to break up, not only to pick up the stone, but to break it? Now look at the precise line over here. To the right, look at the stone. Look how precisely that is cut. Look how smooth that is cut on the right side of the stone slab. See how look how perfectly lined. Look at that. Look how perfectly that is cut. It's like someone had a laser or something, and they lasered that stone to cut so precisely. They chisel it off. They cut it off to pick up that stone to block our entrance, to block our way into the tomb. I think I have another photograph of what I'm talking about here. Yeah, here's a different picture of that stone. Look how big that stone is, right? And you can see the bounce marks. You can see the chisel marks. You can see the scrapes off the top of the wall as it scraped down. Look at that. You can actually see, the scrape marks from someone very big, very powerful, not only cutting up the stone, and I'll show you where that stone came from here in a minute, broke that stone, picked it up, threw it against the wall, and bounced, making the scratch marks, and then slid into place as the evidence suggests from the sliding scratches on the left. We see scratching areas on the right. That's what all that white stuff is on the wall. Those are scratches from the boulder being thrown. And it slides down, resting in place for all these years. Now look at the side of this stone here. Look at the side of it. We're getting closer here. Look at the side. Look how precisely that's cut. Look at that. Look at the side of that. You see that? Look at that. Look how precisely that is cut. Now I'm gonna hold on to this photograph because I might want to use this later here. Look at that. I mean, who the hell would have picked that stone up? That stone is huge. That's a huge boulder. They picked it up and they threw it against the wall. Could it have been a giant? Could a giant created this? It's very possible because I have found evidence of giants on my past shows. I talk about the giants. There's petroglyphs of giants. There's the Native American myths of giants here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we have the myths, the stories from the Native Americans of the giants. We have the carvings of the giants, prehistoric photographs, and now we are possibly looking at evidence of a giant because someone very huge, very big, very powerful had the capability of picking this huge boulder up and throwing it against the wall, making the scratches against the wall and sliding it down into place there. Let's hold on to that for a minute. Let's save that. Let's move on. Here we go. There are the scratches. See the scratches? Those are the scratches that I'm talking about from this boulder. This boulder was thrown in the area where I'm standing at. When I took this photograph, I'm standing exactly at the spot in front of it. I'm standing in front of the wall, in front of the boulder. So whoever would have picked this boulder up was standing exactly where I am at, that took this photograph, and tossed it into that area, tossed it into this hallway, blocking our way to the entrance of the tomb. And you can see the scratch marks. All those red arrows, that's the scratch marks. And the right arrow, arrow on the right, or I'm sorry, the left, you can see on how it's scraped, the boulder scraped and slid and rested. See that? That's evidence right there. We're talking proof here, guys. I'm not talking hearsay. Well, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Look at what we're looking at here. Examine the facts. Is that something? Somebody picked up that rock, man, and they threw it against the wall. Look at that. I mean, you can't deny the evidence here. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, here's another angle of it. Now I'm standing up to the top. Now look at that. You see on how that boulder, look, the boulder's huge, dude. And there's other rocks there on the bottom in front of it. You can see on how they were thrown there to cover up the entrance. This is the entrance. I'm standing on these boulders on this one huge rock slab. All right. And that's the entrance. Right under me is the entrance to go into the tomb. And you can look at the side of this. Look at the side of the boulder here. You can see more evidence of the scratch marks on the side of the wall. Now, look at the side. I want you to concentrate on the side of that rock slab. All right. Do you see the formation of it? You see that? Remember that formation. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. But remember on how that's cut. Remember on how that looks. Okay? And I'll put the comparisons, don't worry, in case you might forget. Look at that huge rock. Who the hell would have picked that son of a bitch up and tossed it into the hallway like that? Is that crazy? That's fascinating. That's incredible. For someone to pick that thing up, have the capability to throw it in the hallway like that. It bounced. We can see it. Boom, 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 slide. Boom, sitting there for 1,000 years, right? Had to be. It boggles the mind, man. It's like, dude. I mean, like, who the hell would have been that strong? Who would have been that strong to pick that thing up and throw it? Let's save that photograph. All right, now, looking towards this area, we can see this is where I was standing at to take the photographs, looking down at the slab. Now I'm on the other side looking up, and you can see all the dirt stuff under this. You can see how this look under it. Look, all this debris on the bottom, that is part of the concealment. This is the entrance right here. If we had, massive shovels and things like that, we could take all these stones out. That is the entrance going into the tomb right here. Now, when we look on top, we can see on how this rock on top here, where the arrow is, has been pushed over, has been broken up and pushed over and broke. Look at the evidence here. Do you see the cut? That's where that red arrow was talking about. Broken and pushed over. This whole side of the rock has been broken up and pushed over and slid in place and broken again. See that? To conceal the entrance. Another part of them burying the entrance to this to the entrance to the tomb on this pyramid mountain hill. Look at that. It's broken on purpose. They broke that for another obstacle of getting in the tomb. That takes some doing there. That is massive power. How the hell are they going to break that, right? I mean, look how thick that stone is. Look how heavy that stone. And they busted it up. They busted it up. Someone busted it up because, I mean, that's part of this huge rock over here to the right. Okay? So they broke it. They busted it first. They chiseled it out. They slid it over. And then to top it off, they broke it in half. And it sits there today. And then there's debris under it, right? Because that's the entrance. That's the entrance to the tomb. That's what we have to uncover to get to the entrance. And who knows, it could be the way they did it, they built these long hallways, they built these long hallway chambers into going towards the pyramid. And then probably another chamber down to where the sarcophagus is or wherever is buried there. This is just the beginning. This is just the outskirts. I mean, once we get past this obstacle, there could be another obstacle after that. It could uncover the hallway, a chamber going towards the pyramid underground, but then there could be another door blocking our way. There could be another obstacle in our way after this. Here's looking on top of it now. Look at that. See that? Look at it. Look how big the stones are. Come on. Look how big it is. And see what I mean by look at the top. See how they broke it up. They pushed it. They pushed it over and they cut it. They cut it in half. See what I'm talking about here? This is evidence, folks. This is not hearsay. You are looking at what's there on South Mountain. We are examining the facts here. We are looking at something that was ingeniously created, ingeniously made. Very powerful person here did this. I mean, let's just look at the evidence. Let's look at the data here in front of you. How the hell could they have done this? How could they break it up? Because it's part of the top stone. It's part of that top stone. Now, first of all, they separated it from that stone. They separated it. And then they pushed it over. And then they broke it again. South Mountain, folks. Something is buried here. Let's move. Well, I don't think I'll need that, but let's put it aside just in case I do. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. They slid it over. That arrow, they slid it over. They broke it up. Now, look at the top here, okay? Look at the top. See that formation arc, okay? Look at the very top up here. It's hard to show you without actually, like, without a pointer. But we're looking at the top here. That slab of stone. See how it bends? You see that? Let's look at that. And then yeah, I probably can't find it now. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Nope. All right. Now, okay, so let's look at the side here. Look at the side of the boulder here. See the side of the right side of this boulder. Look how it arcs. Okay, here's a better picture of it right here. So let's examine the side of the boulder, how it arcs. Look at the shape of this boulder here. Let me get rid of this photograph. Let's examine the side of this boulder. Okay. Now let's look over here and see the top. Do you see the arc? Do you see what I'm talking about here? See where I'm going with this? Let's see if I can bring this up. Okay, do you see what I'm going with this? Look at the right side of the photograph. That's the boulder, and it's got like this arc. And then over here on the top, over here to that stone, we have the same exact arc. So this boulder here on the right, came from the top over here. So this boulder here on the right, was cut up on top of the left. Let me find it. Okay. On the left. And picked up and thrown into place. You get it? You see my point here? That is where that boulder that's sitting in the hallway came from. It's from this area right here. So first they broke it up, and then they picked it up, and then they threw it into the hallway. Here it is. Here's another example. See the arc? See the arc there, right under that, right under there, under that. To the left is where they pushed it over. So they cut it here. They cut that boulder here. And they picked it up and they threw it into the hallway. You see the arc that I'm talking about now? That is where that boulder originally came from. Is they cut it, they picked it up, and they threw it into the hallway. And then they pushed the rest of the rocks to the left. See that? Now, who would have been able to do that? Who what kind of power could have done this? Somebody very big, somebody very strong. Evidence is pointing to giants. Somebody very big, somebody very powerful, man. Broke those stones up, picked them up, threw it in that hallway, slid those other stones over the entrance, and then broke that slab and where it sits today, right there covering the entrance. That's just incredible, okay? Here, okay. Here's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, folks. There it is. We see the boulder in the hallway, and it matches on top on where it came from. You see? Do you understand now? So that boulder was originally from the top, and there's the ark. And then we can see the ark, the puzzle piece. It's a puzzle piece. That puzzle piece in the hallway belongs up here. Now, who would have done that, man? Who could have done that? Who could have broke that up? And look how it's cut. Come on, look at the preciseness in that, man. It's like someone had a laser or somebody had some kind of saw, and they cut it perfectly. Perfectly. Look at the side of that. Look how smooth that is. Okay? Look how smooth the boulder is on the side. Look at that. Come on now. How can we ignore this evidence like this? And this has been sitting here for at least 1,000 years, maybe even longer. Is that incredible or what? Is that something? That is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the true history of Phoenix, Arizona consists of. Not only is the Phoenix Lights part of Phoenix history, but the evidence of the giants, the evidence of the tombs, the evidence of the Mayans, the evidence of the gold, the evidence of the sacrificing that was going on here. I mean, this is deep. This is stuff you will not find in the history books. The archaeologist isn't talking about this. But yet we find evidence of something completely different on what they are trying to lead us to believe. And here the facts is right there in front of us this whole time. Look at the evidence. This is not hearsay, folks. I got to put that in there. This is real stuff. This is what's on South Mountain. This is one of the tombs that Charles Holbert was protecting. I even found an old shovel not far from this location in a tree. It's probably still there today. I didn't take it. I left it there. It's probably still there there today. Yeah, look at that. That's just incredible. That is what I'm talking about. We cannot deny the evidence anymore. The history is with us. Okay. Isn't that incredible? That is one of the tombs there on South Mountain. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, let's get on to these UFOs. All right, so this one here, let's take a close look at this one. Let's blow it up. Look at these creatures here. Now, this must have been taken on an aircraft. Something. Let's examine this for a minute. Let's see what it does. Look how they're moving. Now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's a craft. There's spaceships. There's spaceships." These are living creatures. These are entities. These are not crafts. Look at that thing on the bottom there. Look at that. Okay? It's kind of shape-shifting there. See how it's moving? Look how it's staying together. Look at the bottom. That's more like a snake-looking thing. Okay? Then we have the orb up on top. Right? This is not technology here, people. This is not technology that we're looking at here. These are living creatures, living beings. All right? And their skin, if you will, if you want to call them skin, sometimes looks metallic. Sometimes it shines off the sun. Sometimes it kind of resembles, it's kind of lizardly, like lizard type, skin, if you will. I had one fly by me, and looked exactly like a spider. When you zoomed in on it, you can actually see that it had scales. It had a type of lizard skin. Okay, this is not crafts that we are dealing with here. These are living creatures, living beings. Okay, and whoever filmed this was in the airplane. And yeah, that's pretty good footage. That's pretty neat stuff. I like that. Good catch. Very good catch. If you guys have anything that you want to, send me UFO-wise, send me your petroglyphs. Contact me, on Facebook. Make sure that you follow my page, my YouTube channel. Help the channel grow, please. The Phoenix Lights. Make sure it says Phoenix Lights. Petroglyphs in the sky. Okay? Because if you just see the petroglyphs in the sky with me standing on a rock looking at the mountains, that's not me. That's a hacker. That's not me. Make sure you see me in the cowboy hat, the Phoenix Lights, petroglyphs in the sky. That is really me. There's a lot of people out there stealing my stuff, trying to make money off my work, stuff like that. That's not what I'm all about. So make sure it's the Phoenix Lights, petroglyphs in the sky, and YouTube channel. And here we go. This is cool. Now, somebody was, this is neat. This is over the, this is in New York. And look at this here. This is one of those UFO creatures, and it's going right by the Statue of Liberty. Look at that. Look how we're zoomed in on that thing. See that? This is not a craft, people. These are not spaceships that we're dealing with here. These are living beings. These are living creatures. Okay, this is not technology. And I understand why people might think it's technology, because that's really all they can understand, because that's all they know of. All right? But when you look at the facts, when you look, at the history of the world and some of these ancient scrolls, ancient texts, and the carvings on the rocks, prehistoric photographs of these beings, in no way, shape, or form are they talking about spaceships, crafts, little gray guys, little green men. Okay, so we see sometimes, yes, we do see petroglyphs of what looks like a praying mantis man. I've seen it. Okay, with big eyes. I've seen it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's an extraterrestrial. Okay. They're talking about shape-shifting entities. They like to take the shapes of animals. They like to take the shapes of orbs and lights and diamonds and man and people. That's where the lizard man comes into play. Okay, because they're shape-shifting. First, it's a dot, just like this. All right, these petroglyphs show, for instance, a lizard man. All right, on South Mountain. Now, on the lizard man's belly, in his stomach, is a orb, is a circular dot. Okay? That is the orb. And he's morphing into a human. He's growing arms. He's growing legs. He's growing a tail. Okay? From that orb, he's morphing into a man or a snake or a diamond or a creature. Right? That is exactly what these petroglyphs are depicting. The lizard men have these orbs in the belly. The belly is like circular, whatever, circular. And they're orbs, they're lights. and they change. So this is just the beginning here. This guy here, this orb actually changes into, he's trying to mimic a man. He's trying to look like a man. But right now, he's just an orb. He's just a dot. But he does have the capability to shape shift. Isn't that what the Indians have been telling us all these years, all this time? They shape shift. They're entities, they're creatures, they're spirits. Spirits of the earth and sky. Are they saying technology? Are they saying crafts? No. That is a man-made word. That is a man-made interpretation. Crafts, because that's what they understand. They understand technology. When you come out and say they're creatures and they're shape-shifting and they're doing this, and they're alive. Public, they're right. The public isn't ready for that. The public won't understand that yet. I think maybe now they're starting to realize this, because I'm getting reports from all over the world saying, dude, you filmed a flying snake back in 2005. I just filmed a flying snake coming off the mountain here, and I don't believe that was technology. That sucker was alive. And I'm saying, yeah, exactly. That is what's credible, what we are actually seeing and witnessing. Not hearsay of books with no evidence whatsoever. Or computer-generated spaceships, or computer-generated photographs of aliens and crafts. That's not credible. We need to verify. If we're going to come out and make such a spectacular claim, we must be able to verify it. We must be able to back it up. And I don't see any evidence when it comes to things like that. The evidence lies within our history of the world. And it's talking about the prehistoric photograph petroglyphs, for one. Talking about these orbs in the sky, talking about the phoenix lights, talking about the diamonds and the crooked snakes and the weird formations, right? See those weird formations, carvings? That's the entity. That's, to us, the UFO. The credibility lies in these ancient scrolls, these ancient texts, the Sumerian, the Babylonians. That's these scrolls, things like that. But when you start telling people that, they're just, don't throw religion at me, and I'm not. It's not about religion. Let's not put religion into that. But let's look at these ancient texts as a type of history of the earth. And when you do that, it explains everything, man. It explains what these beings are, why they're here. And it explains that they're not from another planet, that this is their planet also. This is their planet too. So who knows when everyone else is gonna understand this? Who knows whenever. Now I'm not saying that there isn't crafts out there. Okay, I'm open to that. I want to believe that. Don't get me wrong. I want to believe that. At the beginning of the show, I told you I've seen some things that could resemble a craft. I've seen triangles. I've seen something going over our heads that could resemble a spaceship. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need what can be proven right now is what's carved on the rocks, is what the texts are telling us. What we see for our own eyes. What we are recording. Right now we must go on what we can prove. And crafts and little gray guys and stuff, there's no evidence of that yet. I'm waiting for someone to actually bring me evidence of that. I haven't seen it. I see all these, fake photographs and fake videos, and I see tons of hearsay, tons of books about nothing. That's where my book is different. I got photographs, man. I'm crossing my T's and I'm dotting my I's. And I'm bringing you the facts. Just like what I did with you today. That's what I do. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I show you what I'm talking about through my photographs, through my videos. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. Lots more UFOs to come on that video channel. Make sure you follow me here on Facebook. Lots more information coming soon. So yeah, I think that's going to be about it. Thank you guys so much for spending this, what? How long have we been at this? For a while now. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And, make sure that you find me on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Contact me on Facebook if you have any questions. If you want me to talk about petroglyphs, send me your photographs, send me your videos of UFOs. I love to see them. I love to show them on the air. And I just want to say thank you guys so much and your sponsorship. And make sure you go out and get that book. I don't make any money off the book. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. Find it on eBay and also in ebooks. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. Contact me. Make sure you contact. Make sure you get your tickets to Paracon that's coming up in this October. Come out, say hi to me. Bring your books. I'm doing a book signing out there. Bring your video cameras. They're going to be doing sky watches out there. So, yeah, contact Jane Marie Yates at Vulture City Mind. And love to see you guys out there. And, I think that's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.